The morning sun painted San Francisco's streets in golden hues as thousands of runners gathered for the annual Bay to Breakers race. Among them stood Marcus Chun, a 42-year-old software engineer with kind eyes and a determined smile. He adjusted his running shoes one last time, unaware that this ordinary Saturday would forever change his life and test the limits of human compassion. Marcus had trained for months for this 12-kilometer race. He wasn't a professional athlete, just a man who believed in staying active and challenging himself. His wife Sarah had kissed him goodbye that morning, playfully warning him not to push too hard. "Just finish the race in one piece," she had laughed, never imagining how prophetic those words would become. At UCSF Medical Center, Dr. Kim was beginning what he thought would be a quiet weekend shift. Known throughout the hospital as Dr. Miracle for his lightning-fast hands and unprecedented success rates, Dr. Kim had built his reputation on taking impossible cases and turning them into miraculous recoveries. His colleagues respected his surgical genius, but patients loved him for something deeper: his unwavering belief that every life was worth fighting for, no matter the odds. The race began with the usual fanfare. Marcus felt strong as he joined the river of runners flowing through the city's iconic hills. His heart rate was steady, his breathing controlled. He had no family history of heart disease, no symptoms, no warning signs. He was by every medical standard the picture of health. But genetics, that silent architect of destiny, had been building a trap in his arteries for years. As Marcus approached the finish line, something extraordinary was about to unfold. A story that would demonstrate the incredible power of human knowledge, quick thinking, and the refusal to give up when life hangs in the balance. This is not just a story about survival. It's about the invisible threads that connect strangers, the split-second decisions that mean the difference between life and death, and the miraculous teamwork between ordinary people and extraordinary medical professionals. Today, we'll witness how Dr. Kim and his team would face one of their most challenging cases, and how one man's worst day would become a testament to the power of CPR, the dedication of medical professionals, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. If you believe in the power of second chances and medical miracles, stay with us for this incredible journey. The crowd's cheers reached a crescendo as Marcus Chun rounded the final corner of the Bay to Breakers race. His legs felt strong despite the 12 kilometers behind him, and his heart swelled with the satisfaction of another personal challenge conquered. The finish line banner stretched across the street ahead, colorful and welcoming, promising the sweet relief of completion. "Almost there," Marcus whispered to himself, the same words he'd repeated during his training runs through Golden Gate Park. His breathing was controlled, his form steady. At 42, he was proud of maintaining the fitness level of someone half his age. Regular checkups had always given him a clean bill of health, and his doctor had even praised his excellent cardiovascular condition just 6 months earlier. Among the thousands of participants, Dr. James Morrison, an anesthesiologist at UCSF, was also nearing the finish line. Unlike Marcus, Dr. Morrison wasn't focused on his time or personal achievement. Years of medical training had taught him to observe his surroundings constantly, a habit that extended far beyond the hospital walls. Even during a recreational run, his mind remained alert to potential emergencies. Marcus crossed the finish line with a triumphant smile, raising his arms in victory. The timing chip on his shoe recorded his completion, and he began to slow his pace, joining the crowd of exhausted but happy runners in the post-race area. He reached for his phone to text Sarah about his finish time, but something felt wrong. A strange pressure began building in his chest, unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Must be the exertion catching up, he thought, trying to rationalize the growing discomfort. But within seconds, the pressure transformed into crushing pain that radiated down his left arm and up into his jaw. The world around him began to spin, and the celebratory sounds of the finish line area became distant and muffled. Dr. Morrison had just crossed the finish line himself when he noticed a commotion about 50 meters ahead. Through the crowd of runners, he saw a man stumble and then collapse to the ground. His medical instincts kicked in immediately, overriding any fatigue from the race. He pushed through the gathering crowd, his trained eyes already assessing the situation before he reached the fallen runner. Marcus lay unconscious on the asphalt, his face pale and lips taking on a bluish tint. Dr. Morrison dropped to his knees beside him, immediately checking for a pulse. His fingers found Marcus's neck, nothing. He placed his ear near Marcus's mouth, no breath sounds. The diagnosis was terrifyingly clear: cardiac arrest. "Someone call 911 now," Dr. Morrison shouted to the crowd, his voice carrying the authority of medical urgency. He immediately positioned his hands on Marcus's chest and began CPR, his movements precise and rhythmic. Years of medical training had prepared him for this moment, but performing it on asphalt surrounded by panicked race participants was entirely different from a controlled hospital environment. The crowd formed a protective circle around them, some people crying, others pulling out their phones to record or call for help. Dr. Morrison blocked out all distractions, focusing entirely on the rhythm of compressions and rescue breaths. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, repeat. His own heart was racing from the combination of having just finished a 12K run and the adrenaline of trying to save a stranger's life. As sirens wailed in the distance, Dr. Morrison continued his relentless fight against time, unaware that this moment would soon bring Marcus into the care of the legendary Dr. Kim at UCSF. Dr. Morrison's world narrowed to the rhythm of CPR as he worked over Marcus's still form. His hands moved with mechanical precision, compressing Marcus's chest at exactly the right depth and frequency. Sweat dripped from his forehead despite the cool San Francisco morning air, mixing exhaustion from the race with the intense physical demands of prolonged resuscitation. "Come on, come back to us," Dr. Morrison muttered under his breath, a prayer more than a command. Around him, the festive atmosphere of the race finish had transformed into something solemn and urgent. Spectators whispered prayers and words of encouragement, creating a human cathedral around the life and death struggle unfolding on the pavement. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Marcus remained unresponsive, his body lifeless except for the artificial circulation Dr. Morrison was providing. In most circumstances, this would be the point where many would consider the situation hopeless. But Dr. Morrison had spent years in operating rooms where he'd seen the impossible become possible. He knew that brain cells could survive without oxygen for precious minutes, and those minutes were Marcus's bridge to survival. The paramedics arrived like guardian angels, their red and white ambulance cutting through the crowd with professional efficiency. Sarah Williams, a veteran EMT with 15 years of experience, immediately recognized the quality of CPR being performed. "You're doing great, Doc," she said as she quickly set up the portable defibrillator. "How long has it been?" 15 minutes, Dr. Morrison replied without breaking rhythm. His arms ached, but his determination never wavered. Adult male, appears to be in his early 40s, collapsed immediately after finishing the race. No obvious trauma, no previous symptoms that witnesses observed. Sarah's partner, Miguel Santos, was already preparing the stretcher and additional equipment. They worked like a well-choreographed dance team, each knowing exactly what the other needed without speaking. Sarah attached the defibrillator pads to Marcus's chest while Dr. Morrison continued compressions. "Clear," Sarah announced, and Dr. Morrison immediately pulled his hands away. The defibrillator delivered its shock, causing Marcus's body to jolt on the ground. They all looked at the monitor hopefully, but the flat line continued its ominous journey across the screen. "Resume CPR," Sarah instructed, though Dr. Morrison was already repositioning his hands. They had established an unspoken partnership, united in their determination to bring Marcus back. Sarah administered medications through an 4-line, while Miguel prepared the ambulance for immediate transport. At 18 minutes, something incredible happened. Dr. Morrison felt the slightest change under his hands, a barely perceptible resistance that suggested Marcus's heart was trying to beat on its own. "I think we've got something," he announced, hope creeping into his voice for the first time. Sarah checked the monitor and saw the beautiful sight of irregular but genuine heart rhythm. "We've got him back," she confirmed, but her professional training kept her excitement measured. They had achieved return of spontaneous circulation, but Marcus was still in critical condition and far from safe. As they lifted Marcus onto the stretcher, Dr. Morrison felt a mixture of exhaustion and profound satisfaction. He had just spent 20 minutes literally keeping another human being alive through the power of his own hands and knowledge. But he also knew this was just the beginning of Marcus's journey. "Where are you taking him?" Dr. Morrison asked as they loaded Marcus into the ambulance. "UCSF," Sarah replied. "They've got the best cardiac surgery team in the city. If anyone can save him completely, it's them." Dr. Morrison nodded, knowing Marcus was about to enter the care of some of the most skilled medical professionals in the world. As the ambulance pulled away, sirens wailing, He offered a silent prayer that his 20 minutes of CPR had given Marcus enough time to reach the miracle workers at UCSF. The ambulance raced through San Francisco's streets toward UCSF, where Dr. Kim was about to face a case that would test even his legendary skills and unwavering determination. At UCSF Medical Center, Dr. Kim was reviewing patient charts in the cardiac surgery unit when the emergency alert crackled through the hospital's communication system. Incoming cardiac arrest patient, ETA 3 minutes. Post-marathon collapse, 20-minute downtime with CPR, ROSC achieved in field. Dr. Kim's eyes sharpened with focus. 20 minutes of CPR was an eternity in cardiac arrest terms, yet someone had achieved return of spontaneous circulation. This patient would need everything the hospital could offer, and probably more. He immediately gathered his team, his movements quick and purposeful. Dr. Martinez, prepare the cardiac catheterization lab. He instructed his chief resident. Dr. Chun, get me a full resuscitation team in Trauma Bay 3. This patient survived something extraordinary to get here, and we're not going to let him down. The Trauma Bay transformed into a hub of controlled urgency as nurses, technicians, and physicians assembled. Each team member knew their role perfectly, having trained for exactly these moments when life balanced on the edge of a knife. Dr. Kim stood at the center, his presence calm but commanding. Marcus arrived unconscious but breathing on his own, his pulse weak but steady. The paramedics' report painted a grim picture. 42-year-old male collapsed post-race, witnessed cardiac arrest, bystander CPR for 20 minutes before we got ROSC. He's been stable during transport, but we gave him high-dose epinephrine and atropine. Dr. Kim's hands were already moving over Marcus, performing a rapid but thorough assessment. His fingers found Marcus's pulse points, his stethoscope traced across Marcus's chest, his eyes examined pupil response and skin color. Years of experience allowed him to process multiple streams of information simultaneously, building a mental picture of Marcus's condition. Get me a 12-lead EKG immediately, Dr. Kim ordered. And I want chest x-rays, full blood panel, and prep him for emergency catheterization. This man's heart arrested for a reason, and we need to find out why before it happens again. The EKG results confirmed Dr. Kim's worst fears and greatest hopes simultaneously. The readings showed clear evidence of a massive heart attack, but they also showed that Marcus's heart muscle was still viable. There was damage, but there was also salvageable tissue if they acted quickly enough. He's having a STEMI, Dr. Kim announced to his team, referring to the most severe type of heart attack. We're looking at complete blockage of a major coronary artery. Get him to the cath lab now. Every minute we delay costs him heart muscle. As they wheeled Marcus toward the cardiac catheterization laboratory, Dr. Kim felt the familiar surge of determination that had earned him his reputation as Dr. Miracle. This patient had already defied the odds by surviving 20 minutes of cardiac arrest. Now it was Dr. Kim's turn to work a miracle. In the cath lab, Dr. Kim worked with the focused intensity that had made him legendary. Using advanced imaging technology, he navigated tiny catheters through Marcus's coronary arteries, searching for the blockages that had nearly killed him. What he found was both shocking and illuminating. "My God," whispered Dr. Martinez, looking at the angiogram results on the monitor. "Look at those blockages." Dr. Kim studied the images with professional detachment, but inside, he felt a chill. Marcus had not one, not two, but 3 severe blockages in his coronary arteries. 2 arteries were 90% blocked, and a third was 99% occluded, the one that had likely caused the heart attack. This wasn't just bad luck. This was a genetic time bomb that had been building for years. This man was walking around with a heart that was ready to kill him at any moment, Dr. Kim said quietly. The fact that he was able to run a 12K race with these blockages is remarkable. His heart was functioning on borrowed time. But even as Dr. Kim processed the severity of Marcus's condition, his hands never stopped moving. He opened the blocked arteries with stents, restoring blood flow to Marcus's starving heart muscle. It was delicate, precise work that required absolute concentration and years of training. As Dr. Kim worked to restore blood flow to Marcus's heart, neither doctor nor patient knew that their greatest challenge was yet to come, waiting in the critical hours ahead. Just as Dr. Kim was completing the successful stent placement, alarms began screaming throughout the catheterization lab. Marcus's heart monitor showed the terrifying pattern that every cardiac team dreads: ventricular fibrillation. His heart was quivering uselessly instead of pumping blood, and his blood pressure was plummeting toward zero. "He's arresting again," shouted Dr. Martinez, but Dr. Kim was already in motion. His hands moved with the speed that had earned him his nickname, grabbing the defibrillator paddles as nurses cleared away from Marcus's unconscious form. "Charging to 200 joules," Dr. Kim announced, his voice steady despite the crisis unfolding before him. "Clear." The first shock lifted Marcus's body off the table, but the monitor continued its chaotic dance of irregular rhythms. Dr. Kim immediately began chest compressions, his movements precise and powerful. He had seen this before, hearts that were so damaged they couldn't maintain stability even after successful intervention. "Push 1 milligram of epinephrine," he ordered, never breaking the rhythm of compressions. "And get me a miodaron, 300 milligrams for push." The team worked with mechanical efficiency, each person focused on their specific role in the resuscitation. Dr. Kim continued compressions, his mind calculating the odds while his hands fought for Marcus's life. 2 cardiac arrests in one day was almost unheard of, especially for someone who had appeared healthy just hours earlier. "Dr. Kim," called out Maria Santos, the head cardiac nurse, "we're at 5 minutes. Do you want to try another shock?" "Absolutely," Dr. Kim replied without hesitation. "This man fought for 20 minutes on the street to get here. We're not giving up on him now." The second defibrillation attempt sent another jolt through Marcus's body, and this time, the monitor showed the beautiful sight of normal heart rhythm returning. Dr. Kim checked Marcus's pulse and found it strong and regular. The medications and electrical intervention had worked, but Dr. Kim knew they were far from out of danger. "Get him to the cardiac ICU immediately," Dr. Kim ordered. "Full monitoring, and I want someone watching him every second. His heart has arrested twice now, which means the muscle is severely damaged. We need to watch for signs of cardiogenic shock." As they wheeled Marcus toward the intensive care unit, Dr. Kim walked alongside the gurney, his mind already working on the next phase of treatment. The stents had reopened the blocked arteries, but the repeated cardiac arrests suggested that Marcus's heart muscle had sustained significant damage. They would need to assess how much of his heart was still functional. In the cardiac ICU, Marcus was surrounded by the most advanced monitoring equipment available. Every heartbeat was analyzed, every breath monitored, every vital sign tracked continuously. Dr. Kim stood at Marcus's bedside, reviewing the case with his team. "The echocardiogram shows his ejection fraction is down to 25%, reported Dr. Martinez. "Normal is 55% or higher. His heart muscle is severely weakened." Dr. Kim nodded grimly. This meant that Marcus's heart was only pumping about a quarter of the blood it should with each beat. It was functioning, but barely. "We need to give his heart time to heal," Dr. Kim said. "Some of this muscle might recover if we can support him through the acute phase." He turned to Maria, the head nurse. "I want hourly assessments, and call me immediately if there are any changes in his rhythm or blood pressure. This patient has already shown us that his heart is unpredictable." As the hours passed, Dr. Kim found himself checking on Marcus more frequently than usual. There was something about this case that had captured his attention beyond the medical challenge. Perhaps it was the image of a healthy man collapsing after achieving a personal goal, or maybe it was the extraordinary chain of events that had brought Marcus to his care. "Doctor," Maria called softly as Dr. Kim made another bedside visit. "His wife is here. She's been waiting in the family room for hours." Dr. Kim felt his heart tighten. He had been so focused on the medical emergency that he hadn't fully considered the human cost of this crisis. Somewhere in the hospital, a woman was waiting to learn whether her husband would survive, not knowing that he had already died twice and been brought back through the dedication of strangers and medical professionals. As Dr. Kim prepared to meet with Marcus's wife, he knew that the next conversation would be as challenging as any surgery he had ever performed, requiring a different kind of skill entirely. Dr. Kim found Sarah Chun in the family waiting room, her hands wrapped around a cold cup of coffee that she hadn't touched in hours. She looked up when he entered, and he immediately saw the mixture of hope and terror in her eyes. This was the part of medicine that never got easier, no matter how many years he practiced. "Mrs. Chun, I'm Dr. Kim," he said gently, settling into the chair across from her. "I've been taking care of your husband." Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. "Is he alive?" "Yes," Dr. Kim said immediately, knowing that this single word was the most important thing she needed to hear. "He's alive, and he's stable. But I need to explain to you what's happened and what we're dealing with." Relief flooded Sarah's face, followed immediately by renewed concern. The paramedic told me he had a heart attack, but I don't understand. Marcus is healthy. He runs marathons. He just had a physical 6 months ago, and everything was perfect. Dr. Kim leaned forward, his voice patient and compassionate. Sometimes heart disease can be silent, especially when it's genetic. Your husband had 3 severe blockages in his heart arteries that we believe developed over many years without causing symptoms. Unfortunately, one of them caused a complete blockage today, leading to his heart attack. But he's going to be okay now, right? Sarah asked, clinging to hope. You fixed the blockage? Dr. Kim chose his words carefully. We successfully opened the blocked arteries and restored blood flow to his heart. However, Sarah, I need you to understand something important. Marcus's heart stopped twice today, once at the race and again in our catheterization lab. That means his heart muscle has been damaged. Sarah's hand went to her mouth. Stopped. You mean he died? His heart stopped beating, yes, Dr. Kim confirmed gently. But thanks to the incredible CPR performed by Dr. Morrison at the race, and our team here, we were able to restart it both times. The human heart is remarkably resilient, and Marcus is fighting hard. Dr. Kim pulled up a chair closer to Sarah, sensing she needed both medical information and emotional support. Right now, your husband's heart is only functioning at about 25% of normal capacity. This is common after severe heart attacks. Some of that function may return as the swelling goes down and his heart heals, but we won't know for several weeks how much recovery we can expect. What does that mean for his future? Sarah asked, her voice stronger now as she processed the information. It means Marcus will need significant lifestyle changes and ongoing medical care, Dr. Kim explained. He'll likely need medications for the rest of his life, and his activity level will be limited initially. But Mrs. Chun, I want you to know that people can live full, meaningful lives after events like this. The key is following the treatment plan and allowing his heart time to heal. Sarah nodded, absorbing the magnitude of what her husband had survived. Can I see him? Of course, Dr. Kim said, standing up. He's unconscious right now. We have him sedated to help his heart rest, but I encourage you to talk to him. Sometimes patients can hear more than we realize. As they walked toward the cardiac ICU, Dr. Kim found himself thinking about the extraordinary chain of events that had brought Marcus here. If Dr. Morrison hadn't been at the race, if the paramedics had arrived even a few minutes later, if the blockages had been in different locations, any of these variables could have changed the outcome completely. Dr. Kim, Sarah said as they approached Marcus's room, I need you to know something. Marcus isn't just my husband. He's the father of our 2 young children. They're with my mother right now, and they don't know what's happened. Whatever it takes to get him home to them, we'll do it. Dr. Kim felt the familiar tightening in his chest that came with these deeply personal moments. This wasn't just a medical case anymore. It was about keeping a family together, about giving 2 children their father back, about preserving the dreams and plans that Marcus and Sarah had built together. We're going to do everything possible, Dr. Kim promised, and he meant it with every fiber of his being. Your husband has already shown incredible strength by surviving what he's been through. Now we need to give him time to heal and support him every step of the way. As Sarah settled into the vigil beside her unconscious husband, Dr. Kim began planning the complex treatment strategy that would guide Marcus through the dangerous days ahead. 3 days after his cardiac arrests, Marcus finally began to wake up. Dr. Kim was at his bedside when Marcus's eyes fluttered open, confusion clouding his features as he tried to understand where he was and why he felt so weak. Marcus, Dr. Kim said gently, you're in the hospital. You're safe. Do you remember running in the Bay to Breakers race? Marcus tried to speak, but found his throat dry and scratchy from the breathing tube that had been removed just hours earlier. Sarah quickly offered him iced chips, her eyes bright with tears of relief at seeing her husband conscious and responsive. The race, Marcus whispered hoarsely. I finished the race. Then, his brow furrowed as he tried to recall what had happened next. You collapsed after finishing, Dr. Kim explained calmly. You had a massive heart attack, Marcus. Your heart stopped beating, and a doctor who was also running the race performed CPR on you for 20 minutes until the paramedics arrived. The words seemed to hit Marcus like physical blows. He looked from Dr. Kim to Sarah, searching their faces for some indication that this was a mistake or a nightmare. My heart stopped, but I feel okay now. I mean tired, but okay. Dr. Kim pulled up a chair, preparing for a conversation that would fundamentally change how Marcus understood his own body and future. Marcus, we discovered that you have severe coronary artery disease. You had 3 major blockages in your heart arteries, 2 that were 90% blocked and 1 that was 99% blocked. That's impossible, Marcus said, trying to sit up but finding himself too weak. I'm a runner. I'm in great shape. My doctor said my heart was perfect. Sometimes heart disease can be completely silent, Dr. Kim explained patiently. In your case, we believe it's genetic. Your heart developed excellent circulation around the blockages over time, which is why you never had symptoms. But eventually, one of those blockages became complete, causing your heart attack. Sarah took Marcus's hand, squeezing it gently. The important thing is that you're alive. Dr. Kim opened up your arteries with stents, and your heart is beating on its own. Dr. Kim nodded. However, Marcus, I need to be honest with you about what happens next. Your heart muscle was damaged by the heart attacks. Right now, it's only functioning at about 25% of normal capacity. This means you'll need to make some significant changes to your lifestyle. Marcus looked devastated. Will I ever be able to run again? Let's focus on recovery first, Dr. Kim said diplomatically. Your heart needs time to heal. Some function may return over the next several months, but even if it doesn't, there are many ways to stay active that will be safe for you. Over the following days, Dr. Kim watched as Marcus grappled with his new reality. The man who had been crossing finish lines just days earlier now struggled to walk to the bathroom without becoming breathless. It was a humbling and frightening adjustment, but Dr. Kim was encouraged by Marcus's determination. I want to understand everything, Marcus told Dr. Kim during one of his daily visits. What medications will I need? What can I do to help my heart heal? What are the warning signs I need to watch for? Dr. Kim smiled at Marcus's methodical approach. This attitude would serve him well in recovery. You'll be on several medications, a blood thinner to prevent clots, a beta blocker to reduce your heart's workload, and an ACE inhibitor to help your heart function more efficiently. You'll also take a statin to manage your cholesterol. And exercise? Marcus asked hopefully. We'll start you in cardiac rehabilitation, Dr. Kim explained. It's a supervised program where you'll gradually increase your activity level while being monitored by specialists. Many of my patients find it incredibly helpful, not just for physical recovery, but for building confidence in their heart's ability to handle activity. Dr. Kim could see the wheels turning in Marcus's mind as he processed this information. The engineer in him was trying to understand the mechanics of his condition and create a logical plan for recovery. Dr. Kim, Marcus said quietly, Sarah told me that my heart stopped twice, once at the race and once here in the hospital. Does that mean I technically died twice? Dr. Kim considered the question carefully. Your heart stopped beating, which interrupted blood flow to your brain and organs. But Marcus, the fact that you're here, talking to me, with no neurological damage after 20 minutes without a heartbeat, that's nothing short of miraculous. You had guardian angels watching over you. As Marcus's discharge day approached, Dr. Kim knew that the real test of his recovery would come not in the controlled environment of the hospital, but in the challenges of returning to normal life. 2 weeks after his cardiac arrests, Marcus stood at the hospital window, looking out at the San Francisco skyline. His reflection showed a man who looked remarkably similar to the runner who had crossed the finish line, but Dr. Kim knew that everything had changed for Marcus Chun. Are you ready to go home? Dr. Kim asked, entering the room with Marcus's discharge paperwork. Marcus turned, a mixture of excitement and apprehension on his face. I think so. It's strange. I'm excited to see my children, but I'm also terrified. What if something happens when I'm not surrounded by all these monitors and medical staff? Dr. Kim understood this fear completely. It was one of the most common concerns expressed by cardiac patients as they prepared to leave the hospital. Marcus, your heart is stable now. The stents are working perfectly, and your rhythm has been normal for over a week. You have all the tools you need to manage your condition at home. But what if I have another heart attack? Marcus asked, voicing the fear that had been keeping him awake at night. The stents have opened up your blocked arteries, significantly reducing your risk of another heart attack, Dr. Kim explained reassuringly. The medications you're taking provide additional protection. Most importantly, now that we know about your coronary disease, we can monitor and manage it aggressively. Dr. Kim handed Marcus a comprehensive care plan. This includes all your medications, warning signs to watch for, and instructions for gradually increasing your activity. You'll start cardiac rehabilitation next week, and I want to see you in my office in 2 weeks. Marcus reviewed the paperwork, his engineer's mind cataloging each instruction. Dr. Kim, I want you to know that I understand how lucky I am. Sarah told me about Dr. Morrison performing CPR for 20 minutes, about you and your team bringing me back when my heart stopped again. I owe my life to strangers who refused to give up on me. Dr. Kim felt the familiar warmth that came with these moments. When a patient truly understood the magnitude of what they had survived and the dedication of everyone involved in their care. Marcus, your recovery is just beginning. The physical healing is important, but I also want you to consider the emotional aspect. Many cardiac patients benefit from counseling or support groups. I've actually been thinking about that, Marcus said. I want to learn CPR myself. If someone could save my life with those skills, maybe I can do the same for someone else someday. Dr. Kim smiled broadly. That's exactly the attitude that will serve you well in recovery. You're taking a traumatic experience and finding a way to help others with it. As Marcus gathered his belongings, Dr. Kim reflected on the remarkable journey they had shared. From the initial emergency to the complex interventions to the gradual recovery, Marcus had shown incredible resilience and determination. But more than that, his case had demonstrated the extraordinary power of human compassion and medical teamwork. One more thing, Marcus, Dr. Kim said as they prepared to leave the room. I want you to remember that surviving what you survived makes you incredibly strong. Don't let fear of what might happen prevent you from living fully. Your heart is damaged, yes, but you're alive, and that's a gift that many people in your situation don't receive. Marcus nodded, understanding the deeper meaning behind Dr. Kim's words. As they walked toward the hospital exit together, Dr. Kim felt confident that Marcus would not just survive his cardiac experience. He would find ways to thrive despite it. The automatic doors opened, revealing Sarah and their 2 young children waiting by the car. Marcus's face lit up with pure joy as he saw his family, and Dr. Kim knew that this reunion was worth every minute of the intense medical care that had made it possible. As Marcus stepped into the sunlight to embrace his family, his journey from patient back to father, husband, and survivor was just beginning, forever changed by the dedicated strangers who had refused to let him die. Today, 3 years after that life-changing morning at Bay to Breakers, Marcus Chin returns to UCSF Medical Center every year, not as a patient, but as a living testament to the power of CPR, the skill of cardiac surgeons, and the unwavering dedication of medical professionals who refuse to accept defeat. His heart function has improved to 40%, allowing him to lead an active life that includes hiking, swimming, and yes, even some carefully monitored running. He's become a passionate advocate for CPR education and heart disease awareness, speaking to community groups about the invisible nature of genetic heart disease and the critical importance of bystander intervention. Dr. Kim still practices at UCSF, continuing to earn his reputation as Dr. Miracle through his unwavering belief that every life is worth fighting for, no matter the odds. Marcus's case remains one of his most memorable, not because of the complex medical challenges it presented, but because of the extraordinary human chain that made his survival possible. Dr. Morrison, the anesthesiologist who performed CPR at the race finish line, has become friends with Marcus and his family. He continues to run races, but now he also teaches CPR classes, ensuring that more people have the skills to save lives when faced with cardiac emergencies. The lesson of Marcus's story extends far beyond the medical details of his case. It reminds us that every day, ordinary people have the opportunity to become heroes through knowledge, compassion, and the refusal to give up when life hangs in the balance. Whether it's learning CPR, recognizing the signs of heart disease, or simply being willing to help a stranger in need, we all have the power to write miraculous endings to potentially tragic stories. Marcus's journey teaches us that survival is just the beginning. Recovery, growth, and finding meaning in our experiences. These are the true measures of victory over adversity. His heart may be forever changed, but his capacity to inspire others and make a difference in the world has only grown stronger. The next time you see someone collapse, remember Marcus's story and the doctor who wouldn't give up, the medical team that brought him back to life twice, and the man who transformed his trauma into a mission to help others. Because sometimes, the difference between tragedy and miracle is simply someone who cares enough to act.